topic today: how we can unleash the potential of stablecoin via Lightning Network based on RGB protocol on Bitcoin. So here is my today's speech topic: how to unlocking so-called native Bitcoin DeFi and tokenize Fiat, which of course one of the co-organizer of today's event, Tether. Of course, they are super focused on the tokenized Fiat and regulation, how we can make use of Bitcoin and other blockchain technology, and maybe Lightning Network to make the unbanked and underbanked people in the third world, in Latin America, in Africa, in Asia, how to make them accessible to stablecoin and the US dollar pegged fiat. And many of you may have known about RGB protocol, of course, as I think RMBBB Association is registered in Switzerland, and one of the co-founder of Plan B Forum is Giacomo Zucco. He's the initiator of RGB protocol. I mean, I will take a glance to the RGB protocol, but I think most of you have known about this native smart contract layer for Bitcoin to bring programmability to Bitcoin and Lightning Network. And I myself is the co-founder. I myself am the co-founder of BitLight Labs, which is for now the leading infrastructure builder, and also one of the major contributors to the RGB protocol, and also board member of RMBBB Association, alongside with the co-founders of RGB protocol and also Bitfinex, Tether, and Focal Ventures. So I think let's begin with a little introduction to the RMBBB Association and the RGB protocol. So RMBBB Association, there are like 6 board members from the co-founders of RGB protocol, like Pandora Prime, like Dr. Maxim is himself, the chief engineer of RGB protocol, and also Bitfinex, Tether, the CEO of Tether, and the CTO of Bitfinex, of course, and the co-organizer of Plan B Forum, Paolo. He mentioned a lot of times about RGB protocol and think it will be a great chance, a great opportunity to issue USDT and bring stablecoin again to Bitcoin and Lightning Network, become the ascendant of only layer and only the boat. And also, we are among one of the board members of the RMBBB Association, and we developed the so-called more user-facing products, like the wallet, like the RGB Lightning Network node, and also in the future, the AM DEX for the Lightning Network, and also payment service and in cooperation with the regional payment gateways and centralized exchanges and so on to bring stablecoin payment and also Bitcoin payment to the real world on RGB via Lightning Network. So here I may introduce more about BitLight Labs. It is, as I said, is one of the board members of RMBBB Association. We have a BitLight wallet, which is a non-custodial Bitcoin wallet, and with more than 1 million addresses for now. So we are bringing the mass adoption of Bitcoin and also the stablecoin on Lightning Network to the world. Especially, we are super focused on the European and Asian markets, and by this chance, I think it's a great chance for us to know more about how people would use stablecoin outside Asia and Europe. I listened to a speech yesterday about the stablecoin payment and Bitcoin payment in Brazil, in Latin America, and also in Africa, and so on. So I think it will be a great chance for us to bring stablecoin, bring settlement on Bitcoin back. And also we provide the Lightning Network nodes to support RGB to let Lightning Network identify the RGB20 assets. For example, in the future, the RGB20 USDT will be transferred, will be issued. based on RGB protocol. So RGB, for those who don't know about it yet, it's a smart contract system on top of Bitcoin and Lightning Network. So it can define different token standards, and of course, most importantly, the stablecoin, the RGB20, maybe USDT or other stablecoin on RGB. So the stablecoin can once again be used on Bitcoin, like the only layer, the only USDT once has existed in the history of the stablecoin development. But in recent years, the USDT and also USDC is issued in more in the Tron, Ethereum, and Solana because they are programmable. So kind of the initial purpose of Bitcoin, like Satoshi Nakamoto once said, it is a peer-to-peer electronic cash system has no longer existed in today's Bitcoin world. So that's why RGB is rebrought again in today's Bitcoin field, and also supported by Tether and many big names behind, and many like prominent Bitcoin members in this community to support RGB protocol to try to bring native programmability to Bitcoin and Lightning Network that can help us to transfer stablecoin and store stablecoin via Lightning Network on Bitcoin. I think we can skip this part to introduce Lightning Network because it's like a Bitcoin forum. I don't think anyone who's not familiar with Lightning Network. And Lightning Network, of course, is more suitable for the instant payment and small size payment. But we cannot imagine one guy who's crazy enough to pay a coffee, maybe $2 to $3 with Bitcoin. There will be a lot of effort and to do so, and that's not efficient. So that's why stablecoin will be brought to will be introduced to the Bitcoin ecosystem, to be introduced to the Lightning Network. So let's talk about BitcoinFi first. There are two parts of today's speech about how RGB and Lightning Network can bring to the Bitcoin ecosystem. The first one is native Bitcoin DeFi, and the second part will be the stablecoin payment. Lightning Network maybe as a financial settlement layer for the world. So DeFi is invented, is a conception invented by a programmable blockchain. And that's one of the major reasons why Ethereum is successful. And Ethereum can claim itself as a world computer and as a so-called foundation of the on-chain finance. So DeFi is, we can bring the financial system, of course, from banking to investment banking, to the secondary market, the stock trading, the lending, and everything about finance to the blockchain. And it is to the open ledger so that everyone can gain access to and also enjoy the benefits, the benefits of blockchain and the decentralized system. So there are several examples like Uniswap, like Compound, MakerDAO, Aave. They are super successful within the Ethereum ecosystem. But sadly, we do not see such a potential on Bitcoin and Lightning Network. It is, Bitcoin's dominance rate is still around 50% to 60% in the whole crypto industry. That makes Bitcoin the most important asset, the most important so-called cryptocurrencies among all the crypto assets. But we can only, how can we accept that Bitcoin be wrapped to Solana or to Ethereum to be a participant of the so-called DeFi ecosystem when it is recognized as one of the most important assets in the world, just like gold and silver. So that's why Bitcoin needs a native DeFi ecosystem to let Bitcoin once again become the most acceptable or recognizable assets in the DeFi ecosystem, but not the how can we rely on a financial ecosystem that's it's a base asset? It's not Bitcoin or gold, but some outgoings, especially many high efficiency, high speed chains nowadays are bringing more DeFi systems to the world, but they do not allow or even do not support Bitcoin as part of it. So that's important to bring the native DeFi to Bitcoin. And the RGB protocol, of course, with this native programmability, we are trying to solve the problem as a foundation, the technological foundation for the Bitcoin itself to become programmable in some sense. So RGB protocol introduced a client-side validation method, which does not introduce another blockchain, but introduce a off-chain solution, just like Lightning Network, to define all the programs and tokens we need to build a DeFi ecosystem. So with RGB, there will be like settlements layer, like a set layer, and also the applications and aggregators with Bitcoin. And of course, the settlement will be Bitcoin itself or Lightning Network. So it will make the native BitcoinFi the most secure system in the world compared to all other altcoins. Ethereum, they always claim that Ethereum is like the most secure DeFi ecosystem in the world. But that's because Bitcoin itself does not have the programmability to build a DeFi ecosystem. So once the Bitcoin itself and Lightning Network can become the settlement layer and commitment layer, we can imagine a new DeFi system born within the Bitcoin ecosystem. And also, of course, it can ignify and stimulate the power of the capital flow within the Bitcoin ecosystem itself. As many Bitcoins today is are stored in the centralized exchanges and also the cold wallets. They are not being used and not become an important player part of the contemporary financial system. So Bitcoin itself, I mean, among the all the years of exploration, actually there are some people who's trying to explore the way of try to build a financial system within the Bitcoin, like Color Coin, like Counterparty, which is allow users to create and trade custom assets, but sadly it's a hard fork of Bitcoin, so it cannot be successful. And also Lightning Network can bring us a way of efficient transferring assets on Bitcoin without too much transaction fee. And also after the Taproot upgrade, you can see the Taproot assets and also the BVM and also, of course, most historically established one, RGB. We can have more script to support the programmability within Bitcoin itself. So today I think it's the right time to bring RGB and the programmability within Bitcoin again after the Taproot upgrade. So Bitcoin can support smart contract applications in some sense so that Lightning Network can become functional to be the foundation of a DeFi application and to be the settlement layer of today's payment and financial system. I think this chart I have talked before, like compared to Ethereum and Solana, why BitcoinFi will be more secure and more efficient. Solana is quite popular recently due to the meme coins and also the PayPal issued the PYUSD. The PayPal USD owns Solana as one of its stablecoin choices. It's kind of that the Solana is the American chain, but not the global chain to support the DeFi ecosystem. And also Ethereum, I see is not as passionate to do more innovation. But in the Plan B forum and among the Lightning Network and Bitcoin developers, I see the potential to build something new on the most solid foundation. That's called Bitcoin. So we are one of them trying to define the smart contract within Bitcoin, and also RGB is like a very established conception which has been developed for 5 to 6 years by RMBBB Association. We are enhancing our foundations to let RGB and Lightning Network can once again make Bitcoin the global financial layer and also settlement layer. So Bitcoin will be a stored value like gold, or become a blockchain that can support the global finance. So the choice is in our hands to define. If Bitcoin is just a store value like gold, it will become the puppet of the government. However, if it can be the foundation of the decentralized finance and the private payment system settlement layer, it will become more vivid with more possibilities to explore. So we are also building an AM DEX for the RGB20 tokens based on Lightning Network to make Lightning Network and Bitcoin the foundation, one of the foundations of DeFi. So let's talk more about the stablecoin payment. That's a more fun part, I think. I think there are only two, maybe three narratives or three conceptions that has been acceptable as the real value that blockchain and the cryptocurrency technology can bring to the world. So firstly, it's maybe DeFi, decentralized finance. We have transactions really happening on chain and also RWA affiliated to the DeFi systems on Solana and Ethereum. And secondly, maybe meme coins, like in Solana and Ethereum, people are making the blockchain another big casino in the world. And the third part, I think it is the stablecoin payment. One of the greatest innovation, maybe among the human history, when we see the stablecoin as part of the evolution of payment system. We can see how payment or how cash evolve throughout human history. So from for the very beginning, we use cash and checks. The communication layer and the settlement layer is not so efficient. So people will have many verification system to make it even more inefficient. With the development, we introduced credit card system on the foundation of the contemporary banking system, which is, of course, I think it's a bureaucratic and very inefficient. And every time you pay with Visa or MasterCard, they charge you like 2 to 3% of the transaction fees. And then we introduced the internet finance or fintech. In America, we know PayPal. We can pay with PayPal or any in Switzerland and in Europe. I see other choices too. Like you scan the QR code and You can do the settlement with Stripe or with Visa or MasterCard system to make the payment. And in Asia, especially in China, they use Alipay and WeChat Pay, which is more convenient. I mean, Alipay and WeChat Pay just show the QR code to scan the QR code and make payment, just like Lightning Network Bolt 12 can bring us. If you show a Lightning Network Bolt 12 QR code and scan it, you can transfer the Bitcoin and maybe in the future stablecoin to another party. And that becomes more efficient for the modern payment system. And that's, the true value of the blockchain, of a Bitcoin, Lightning Network, and RGB can bring to the world. So stablecoin is very important part of today's financial payment layer to the world. I'm little. I shock myself even when I search the data. 30% of cross-border remittances are conducted via stablecoins because it's very efficient and cost cutting. So if imagine for immigrant worker from Africa and he found a job in Paris or London, how can he transfer the British pound or the euro to Africa, to his local currency? So in traditional banking system, we need to firstly connect the European bank to make a bank account, and then to make euro to transfer it to the local currency in Africa, and to connect the local bank in Africa, maybe through Visa, through MasterCard, or other payment service providers or gateways to do the same, and then to transfer the money back to Africa with account settled. But with Lightning Network and with in the stablecoin defined on Lightning Network, we can make it easy in 1 second or in 0 seconds. All we need is firstly a QR code, a Bolt 12 QR code to scan. Okay, I'm gonna transfer the Bitcoin or transfer the stablecoin to the address. I scan it, I send it. That's over. So stablecoin and Lightning Network really bring the efficiency growth, the efficiency enhancement to nowadays financial system. And I think that's a real value that Bitcoin, Lightning Network, and RGB can bring. And also PayPal, Visa, and other payment giants, they are attempting to try the blockchains and Lightning Network as one of their choices of do the cross-border remittance. For example, the Strike. Strike use Bitcoin via Lightning Network to provide service of cross-border remittance through Bitcoin on Lightning Network. And also MasterCard, Visa, they are trying to use Ethereum layer 2s to transfer the stablecoin to make it more efficiency, to make it more efficient. So why we are building the stablecoin payment via Lightning Network? Why we are not building it on Ethereum layer 2s? Of course, it's the most secure way. But also I would like to bring back the original purpose of Bitcoin itself. So Bitcoin is a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. So it can be a cash that is not controlled by the government, but owned by everybody. So that's the initial purpose of Bitcoin. However, when the price of Bitcoin keeps soaring, and it kind of becomes a store value like gold. We cannot imagine oneself to buy a coffee with gold or Bitcoin nowadays because it's too expensive and less efficient. So we at first we introduced Lightning Network. We introduced state channel for instant payments, especially it's more frequent than the instant payment on Bitcoin. And then we found that even with Lightning Network itself, it is still not efficient enough. So that's why we must bring stablecoin, the dollar-pegged tokens, to the Bitcoin and Lightning Network system to make it more efficient. And also, it's a great chance to educate the market to use a service provided by the Bitcoin and Lightning Network. It's very hard to convince somebody that, okay, you can hold Bitcoin and spend Bitcoin daily, like an everyday payment method, but it becomes more, it makes more sense to convince people to have dollars, to have dollar-pegged tokens, to have stablecoins as one of their choices of payment. But on Bitcoin via Lightning Network, that can bring the mass adoption of Bitcoin to the real world. So here I give two examples. One is within the BitcoinFi ecosystem, of course, within the cryptocurrency industry. One is within the traditional fi and payment fields, how Lightning Network and stablecoin can bring potential, can bring the efficiency enhancement to those two fields. So for the Bitcoin and also the crypto industry itself, with Lightning Network stablecoin, we can have more efficient DeFi system and also the maybe asset issuance and the trading on Bitcoin. And within the traditional fi and payment fields, we can let Lightning Network to replace all the medium of traditional banking system, like the issuer bank, payment gateway, payment processor, payment network, acquire. And that's only the settlement part of the traditional payment field. So Lightning Network is not only a settlement part, but also the communication layer for the global financial and payment system. Here I make a wrap-up of the RGB Lightning Network payment. So it's a decentralized and has very low cost, even lower than the banking system, and also even lower compared with every blockchains. That's because Lightning Network is an off-chain solution. And also it is real-time and efficient. It is accessible globally and has a greater privacy because RGB uses a single-use sale commitment to ensure that all transactions are private. So, a blockchain is an open ledger, so everyone can see your transaction. But with RGB and Lightning Network, we can make every transaction private. And that's very important for the financial system to be adopted by the mass of the world, because the banking system nowadays and the fintech products that people use are not open ledger, but private state. And so I'd like to quote one of Satoshi Nakamoto's words to conclude today's speech. So Satoshi once said, once it gets bootstrapped, it means Bitcoin. There are many applications. If you could definitely pay a few cents to a website as easily as dropping coins to a vending machine. So let us ask ourselves, have we achieved such goals with today's Bitcoin's development? I don't think so. But with Lightning Network and with RGB, which brings programmability to define stablecoins, to build the decentralized financial system within Bitcoin ecosystem, this word, this sentence, this purpose can finally be achieved in several years. Thank you.